Keshe Foundation, an independent, non-profit, non-religious, space-based organization founded by nuclear engineer Mehran Tavakoli Keshe, is introducing to humanity the science of the universe, plasma science. Keshe Foundation develops universal knowledge and space technologies that provide solutions to major global problems, revolutionizing agriculture, health, energy, transportation, materials, and more. The application of plasma science in the form of specially developed plasma reactors and other devices will give humanity the real freedom to travel in deep space. Plasma science exists throughout the whole universe. It is here and it belongs to you. Our knowledge, research, and development regarding the plasma structure has progressed to the point of enabling everyone to participate in the process. Become a creator and understand the work of the universe for the good of humankind on this planet as well as in space. The use of megravs, nanomaterials, GANs, liquid plasma, field plasma, and other plasma technologies have come as a new dawn for humanity to progress and work in harmony with the universe. Conventional technology applications are wasteful, damaging, and cause pollution to the planet and all living beings. Plasma science provides solutions and improves existing methods and use of resources in all aspects that touch the lives of all beings. Plasma is defined by the Foundation as an entire content of fields which accumulate and create matter and is not defined by its physical characteristics like ionization or temperature. Also, with plasma science, we understand how we can convert matter back to the fields. Quoting from Mr. Keshe, MGRAV stands for magnetic gravitational, which means plasma absorbs or gives. And every plasma has the both. It has give and it has take. When they can't find the balance, they distance themselves until they find the balance they can give to the others, that they can receive what they want to receive and give further. Certain atoms and molecules release and absorb magnetic or gravitational fields. Released fields are available to be absorbed by other objects. The Keshe Foundation has developed a way to gather these free-flowing fields from the environment within a resourceful and beneficial new state of transitional matter, which M.T. Keshe named GANs. The first step of the process of the formation of various basic types of GANs is nanocoating metals. This is carried out either chemically by etching, steam coating with sodium hydroxide, or thermally by heating, fire coating by gas burner. During either coating process, gaps between outermost layers of atoms are created. The residual coating is often referred to as nanocoating, defined by the structured layers of nanomaterial, which build up during the creation process of the coating. Nano-coated metal in interaction with other various metal plates in a saltwater solution creates MGRAV fields. These fields then attract available elements to form a specific GANs, which collects and settles at the bottom of the container. This GANs is formed from independent energized molecules like little suns that can be used in various applications. Conventional science teaches us that what we can't measure does not exist. This led to a separation between science and spirituality. Plasma science combines both of these worlds. The entire universe is made up of magnetical giving and gravitational taking fields. We absorb only those fields we can use, and we emit fields we do not need. After a while, the fields are balanced, creating balanced matters. Imagine there is a technology which can balance your body, emotions, and soul. And because everything is made up of fields, including our emotions, this simple technology easily processes the roots of your disease. Keshe Foundation developed simple methods, ready-to-use materials, and efficient medical health units that work on different field levels to process many existing health conditions and help restore the natural balance in your body. More and more studies are showing that emotion is at the heart of many illnesses. After the use of the plasma coil units, changes in emotional patterns are noticed, and then following this, changes in the physical body occur. We don't cure diseases, but process them by bringing the body to a balanced state in such that the disease cannot exist. This means you can achieve complete emotional and physical balance in relatively short time. People all over the world use GANs and GANs water, plasma water, within different devices and processing methods. The Keshe Foundation offers a full spectrum of information pertaining to GANs and its uses, from solid plasma to liquid plasma to field plasma. Which of the available information, processes, or devices resonates with you? At the same time we open the door to the power of our soul, Keshe technology elevates the soul of the man in order to bring balance to our body, bring balance to our flow of emotions, bring peace to the world, and readiness to open up to the universal community.
Okay, now I want to present a case of breast cancer treated by plasma technology. But before that, I'm going to talk about a little bit myself. I completed the medical school in Mexico, Northern Mexico. And there I made a specialty in general surgery and plastic and reconstructive surgery in Mexico City, in Mexico. And then I make a fellowship in plastic and reconstructive surgery in Madrid, Spain. And I have the honor to be in a country, Italy, making a fellowship also in a beautiful town of Lucca. I've been practicing plastic and reconstructive surgery for 30 years. So I have a little quite of experience on this area. So I had this patient who was 30 years old, female, who had left breast cancer on the lower inner quadrant. The biopsy comes with invasive ductal carcinoma, nuclear grade 3, which is a very aggressive cancer. We're going to see some photos. This is the one I warned you that is very graphics. Okay, this is a case presented to me when he came to me with this breast. As a patient has a biopsy, and 1 week after she had a biopsy, the breast started to grow enormously. But this patient was put on antibiotic for 3 weeks and didn't respond. So she was refused to do surgery and chemotherapy and chose to alternative methods of treatment. When she came to me, it was had energy, high fever, pain in her left breast, and not be able to sleep. When she came to me, asked me if I can help her. I says, well, we'll try to do this technology. I've seen beautiful results, but you're welcome to try. So I invite her to stay inside the machine that we'll see later on. And I ask her, if you see any results after an hour, go home. If you see results, you're welcome to come and we'll start the treatment, or at least allow you to be in this environment. She stayed for an hour, she went home, and then the next day in the morning, she said for the first time after several months, she was able to sleep without any pain. So she was willing to start this treatment with this. The only blood test that she had is, and all the remarkable things that we found is leukocytosis due to the infections of the process, which is, it means the white cells were increased, not other, and also the anemia and continues required blood transfusion through the treatment, and you will see those photos and why she needed a blood transfusion. So before I address this patient with cancer, I would like to explain how we as doctors in plasma technology, we're addressing the health issues. We divide it in 4 steps: physicality, energy, emotions, and soul. Physicality, as doctors, all doctors see this, see the field of medicine on the physical, on the physicality. We treat only in this area. We remove tumors, we give treatments, pills, tablets, etc. That's the only area that we, as doctors, we work on. when I ask the doctors about energy, if they know about energy, and always refer the energy is, yes, the come from the brain. And I said to them, this brain is electrical impulse, it's part of the physicality. The energy that we see is totally different, emotions and soul, but I will explain every single one. The element, the body, the physicality as we see as medical plasma doctors is we see the elements of the body. The body of every elements of the body has their own gravitational magnetic field. So we can work on it magnetically. And most importantly, 96% of this body is made of oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. Why is it important to know this element? We understand, in order to understand the plasma technology, we have to understand the elements of the body, where those elements come from. And so we understand, so in order to understand the body, we have to understand the macro universe. So everyone know that the sun has a magnetic gravitational field, and also the earth has the magnetic gravitational field. Well, those two fields interact each other, creates light. What does it mean? Well, some people don't know. That beautiful light that you see during the day in the clear sky, that we call sun, actually it's not the sun. If it were a sun, how come when we go outside and the space is completely dark? If the sun is so big, how come it doesn't light the whole universe, the whole space? So it's completely dark. And not only that, when we go out and you see those videos of astronauts working outside on the satellites, you see no stars, no light, no stars, nothing. So that light is inside of interaction of the stratosphere of the earth and the sun. We create light. And not only that, the importance of that friction that brings elements, and all the universe are all the elements that we see on the periodic table. But happened that here in this particular place between the sun and earth, there's all element. There are certain elements, which is carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. That means the earth, the all living entities of earth are made of these elements. 96% of the body is made of these elements. 96% of the body of the structure of the plants are made of these elements. 96% of the animals are made of these elements. The rest of the elements are part of the earth. So that is important to understand why this technology is, the importance of this technology is they're capable to imitate or to replicate the effects of these fields, to bring this and to create this energy, so we can add those elements and more on other ones to create an environment. So the people, or will be able to be in the environment that will be able to change ourselves, to correct ourselves, to regenerate ourselves. The problems as we live in this world, that so much pollution, so much imbalance on those elements, then we start creating diseases. So this environment, this technology create that environment that your body will have those elements that will be able to change, to reconstruct itself, to rebuild itself. The energy, as I said, the doctors only the energy, the only energy they know is the energy comes from the brain. But as I said, it's an electrical impulse. This is part of the physicality. No one, no doctors, no one address the energy that we have around our body. There's some people call them aura, call them whatever you want, but it's a field, it's a fact, energy. And I want to give you a little examples how this is important. That really exists. There are incredible, I mean, numbers of technology devices that can prove that we have that energy around our body. But let me give you some example. That's an example that I give to doctors when I have a meeting with them. So let's give an example. When you are working outside under the sun, you're sweating a lot, you're working for hours under the sun, you're sweating, and your body is screaming, yelling for a glass of water, for water. That means that every single cell of your body is yelling for the water. So, and according to the medicine, that means that we have to drink water, we have to go to the mouth, to the esophagus, to the stomach, to the bloodstream, and then goes to every single cell of the body. It will take a lot of time. But what happened? Isn't that true that when we crying for that water, that the whole body, every single cell of the body is crying for that water? But as soon as we get the little sip of water, it goes behind that tongue, we have incredible pleasant. It says, wow, I feel so great. That water hasn't even reached the esophagus, not even the stomach. So how come we have the effect on every single part of the cells, every single part of the body, every single cell of the body? That means because it turns to plasma, it turns to energy, and we are wrapping that energy. So that energy of that water goes to every single cell of the body. It's like having a cell phone. Here in the country, we have a specific cell phone number that when the governments dial the number, every single cell phone in the country rings. It means that it's an emergency. It's the same way the body's connected to each other. So it's connected to that field. Once we drink that water, that sip of water, that energy goes through every single cell of your body. So that's a field. It's not the way we will learn on medicine. And also, I'm gonna give you another example. If you stop breathing for 20 seconds, every single cell of your body needs oxygen. They're crying for oxygen. You don't, just hold yourself for 20 seconds, not even a minute, only 20 seconds. And every single cell of your body was crying for that little amount of oxygen. But as soon as you have the inhalation, you have to respond in the body. The oxygen that you breathe hasn't reached the lungs, it hasn't reached the alveolus, but it has an effects instantly in the whole body, in the whole cells. So we have that feel around the body. So that's the way it works, the body. Once we understand that the body has a different connections, we can change, we can make so many changes. So on another, the emotions. Also, we have heard that medicine, we said 98% of the diseases are psychosomatic. Psychosomatic, what does it mean, psychosomatic? For the medical field, they say psychosomatic means stress. Stress, for me personally, stress is ignorance. Stress is everything related to hyperactivity of the brain or the body, whatever. We have to shut it down. We have to give them pills to shut down the brain. So it's ignorance. So we are not addressing any emotions. The emotions, I would say 100% of diseases are involved emotions. What is emotions? Emotions, why is that? So we have the capacity to create ourselves. We have the capacity to create our own reality. So whatever thought we put in the big brain, we create that. So if we have emotions, like, let me give an example. I'm going to give also example for this patient, but let me address another one, like Alzheimer. And Mr. Keshe has given us so many examples. Let me give you this one, Alzheimer. What's happened in Alzheimer? According to the medicine, the brain is dying. Why is dying? And they take the MRI and see a black spot in the brain because the brain tissue's dying. That means there's no way to recover. And people that with Alzheimer, what they happen is they don't like the present they are living. People that normally they move from one country to another and they don't like the country. They live in the past. That's why they remember the past. They live in the past. So they don't live at the present. Inside the brain, inside the subconsciousness, it says the present doesn't matter. So he started to shut it down. He started to shut down the brain. He started to shut down the body. That's why the people start disconnecting for the present, because they live in the past. That's what we have to address, that emotions, that issues, in order to bring it back to normal life. And I didn't have time to present also people with Alzheimer, but I had people with Alzheimer that were just laying in bed with feeding tubes, no response, not even blinking, and bringing back to almost 80% to life. It's incredible using this technology. So, and the soul. Doctors don't address the soul, not even believe that there exists any soul. For most of the doctors, the soul is part of the religion. And I'm not surprised if religion is a big lie. And science, with all respect, the way we've been taught, it's a big lie. So we haven't found any relations between soul and the body. But now that the more we understand the plasma, we understand that we are one. We are connected more to the spiritual life. And for me, the soul is when you're connected to the soul, you have unconditional love. When you have unconditional love to yourself, to everybody, you can change the body. You can change anything in no time. For me, that is the main connection. Once you reach unconditional love, you can change anything in the world. So as doctors, as Dr. Klaus mentioned, we have a group of doctors and we have developed a protocol to treat patients, any patients. It doesn't matter if it has cancer, and diabetes, Parkinson, whatever, any disease. This is a protocol that we follow to every single patient. So the first time is, we said, if 100% of diseases are involve some emotions, so we create that a breathing device, a drinking water gas. I'm going to explain every single one in details. The health plasma unit, targeting the organs with specific gas on CO2 gas ampoules. So the breathing device, we use the breathing device to target the emotions. We have seen that when we use zinc gas and CO2 gas, that makes, and the breathing device, we can deal with these emotions. We block the emotions. What is important? Why we block the emotions? To understand these emotions, is in the midbrain, we have the tunnels that control the emotions. Let me see this. Let me put it this way. In the midbrain, when you have access to the midbrain, you can access to everything. You can create any reality that you want. But the way I see it, the midbrain has a little window. And that little window, we have to have access to that little window. We have like a bottleneck or a funnel. That's a lot of emotions are inside that block the passage, block the path to or focus to a reality, to or creation. So instead of say, I want to create a new life for me, I want to do something, I have so much emotion that I created that emotion. So I have access to the midbrain, but put in on that midbrain all the emotions. So we created that emotions. And subconsciously, we create that reality. Sometimes we don't know which one is reality. The one we live this as our body, or what the one we live inside the brain. So that inside the brain is creating another reality. Whatever you put in your brain, whatever you put, any thoughts, if you're suffering for something, you're suffering, so your body started shutting down your brain started shutting down the body, because it doesn't want to live, because it's suffering. So even though you're not committing a suicide, but inside of yourself, you are committing a suicide, developing some kind of disease. So we have to deal with emotions if you want to change that body. So we're using different devices. I personally made this thanks to Mr. Keshe teachings. I created this one with the tube, it's a big tube with a single one, a small one that is wrapped around it, and that single one, that's 1/4 inch tube, is filled with CO2 and zinc gas. So people that breathing that just that feel, starting to feel calm, starting to feel. They know they have the emotions, they have problems, but they don't bother anymore. Says, I know they have those problems, but they don't bother me. I feel great. I feel incredible. And people that are awakening, people that meditate, they have found that once they have that unit, they start breathing, they can meditate, they can go to an analogical mind faster than without that. It takes, when they meditate, it takes a long time to get to the neurologicals to be, and that state they can create whatever they want. But that helps us because they get rid of all the emotions. So drinking water, the other step is drinking water. We use a different, against water plasma is CO2, zinc, copper oxide, and CH3 to give energy. So the CO2, it takes, as we said, the body is made of carbon and oxygen mainly. So we give them those elements to the body. So zinc to control the emotions, copper oxide to repair or to deal with the muscle tissue, cartilage, ligaments. It helps to regrow all that. The CH3 for energy, but in particular patients with cancer, we never use CH3 on patients with cancer because CS3 give energy to every single cell of the body, but also as well will give energy to the tumor cells. So if we give patients who have cancer, we give them CS3, we'll give in fire, all wood to that fire, so it'll start growing again. So we have to be careful not to give them CS3 patients who have cancer. And also, people who have different diseases, different cancers, we know that the people don't die because of cancer. The people die because the lack of energy. The cancer takes all the energy out of the body. So we're creating this plasma food. It can be in the vial, can be a patches, and it can be a patch. Put the plasma food and different patches and put them in your back, and CO2 in front of the stomach. Or you can create this vials, put in the water, just drink in the water, and people have the energy of those elements. I have myself a vial like this, and I put meat, chicken, fish, vegetables, fruit, everything. I have everything there. And so I feed myself through this. So, and also this one, if you want to know a little bit more how to use the plasma, Klaus developed this way of understanding the plasma, how to use it. So you can go on Keshe Foundation, KesheFoundation.org, and you can see those first aid, plasmatic first aid tablets to explain how to use those elements, those plasma. So I myself, as health unit, I create this things to the blueprints that Mr. Keshe told us that I create this plasma unit made of coils, and that's covers the whole body, covers the brain, the bottom, every size of the body. So the people step inside and feel that energy, feel the effect of the energy. But once the people are inside, we are not just being inside that body. This people say, so if I'm going inside, I'm going to heal myself. Nobody's going to heal yourself. So it's going to change. We created an environment that will allow you to get those elements, and your body will start responding to change it, to repair itself, to reconstruct itself, to change it. So we don't heal anybody. We don't do that. It's just giving the elements that you need. But also, once you are inside that environment, and we have to target an organ, like for example, if we have problems with the heart, we're going to put some patches in the heart, using different kinds of glands in front and back of the heart, inside this unit, and we can see that change it in the body. We can remove tissue out of the body, or we can regrow tissue inside the body, depending on how to use this technology, this beautiful technology. This plasma unit, as I said, it helps to remove, and also it helps to regrow any tissue in your body. So to understand the effect of this technology, we have to know that 80%, in order to survive ourselves, 80% of the energy comes through the skin. And 20% of the energy we need to survive comes through the food that we eat. So if 80% comes through the skin, that means and we create this environment, we receive the elements that we need. So once we put the elements around that environment, the body will take them. It's like being under the sun and receiving all the elements, the carbon, the oxygen, the nitrogen, the hydrogen from the environment, and feel yourself great. That's the same effect with being inside this unit. It creates an environment. They are not healing devices. It's only created an environment. As I said before, we have so much pollution outside in the environment. We have so many poisons on the plants, on chemicals on the seeds, on the fruit, and the pesticides using for the plants, everything. We eating all this poisons, so creating so much imbalance in the body. So that's why we start creating diseases. For one side, we have the emotions, and for the other, we have the imbalance of those elements. So we creating this environment to give you the elements that your body needs in order to repair. And also I created different ones. Thanks to Mr. Keshe teaching, we created this one using plasma. Inside the tube is tube inside another tube, put in plasma GANs. I put plasma, liquid plasma and GANs. So inside you feel that same energy. I have as a group of doctors, we have the privilege to have a person, incredible person whose name is Klaus de Treff. Is a person who can see the energy out of any devices, and he could see the energy. I saw him the photo of this unit, and he saw that the first one creates a vortex field of energy, and also an energy that goes back and forth in the body. And this one not a vortex, a torus energy. That energy comes in from the bottom and goes out up on the top, and it goes up. It creates a toroid image of a toroid field of energy. And this one creates a vortex. And it's another thing that I always ask the people, when you create any devices or this one, put the intention and love. That's a beautiful thing. Another thing that Klaus de Treff saw on these devices, when he saw this, he said, I can see your consciousness, how your consciousness has grown. I see your same consciousness in those devices. And I know when you put the intention in everything that you build, either plasma, when you nanocoat it, when you put plasma, everything's energy. So you are a field of energy. So if you have that energy, the intention and love around your field, you put that intention, that field is inside those elements, that plasma you made, the GANs, the nanocoating, the unit, every single part that you build in, you put your intention. Even when we have heard so many times that when you make food, you're in the kitchen, if you had in a good mood, you put a love in your food, people feel that love in the food. But as well, when you put in bad intention, you are in a bad mood, you are not happy, and you're creating food, people that are eating that food are eating that intention as well. They will have the same reaction. So we have so many proof that the energy of that body affects everything that we have in front of us. Whatever we create, it has our intention, it has a blueprint, and that blueprint is your emotions, your intention, your love. That's why it says when you connect to the soul, you connect to the unconditional love, and you will change everything. So once we are inside that field, creates a loop. Whatever you have in both sizes goes inside and changes. As I said, we can remove tissue from inside, or we can add tissues inside your body, whatever the body needs. Once we give them the elements, we create the environment, the body responds. That's simple, that is. This technology, once you understand, is so simple. That's, I know in the future, there are not going to be any doctors here in this community. I would say more than 60 people, 70 people have health units like this. A lot of people are building this unit, and they have their own house. And the beautiful thing is they're sharing with their neighbors. Not only they teaching their neighbors how to make it, but they sharing this technology. They have their own health unit. They creating their own environment. And I given all the instructions. I supporting them to understand this technology and help them to develop whatever they need in order to change the body, in order to find the balance. So in the last one is the CO2 against ampoules. That's we doing some trials and treating patients with severe condition, and we have a beautiful response. So people that are not able to come and set up and be inside this unit, because normally we put the patients inside between 2 or 3 hours inside the machine, 1 hour, 2 or 3 times a day. It means a lot of times inside the units. So people are not in good condition. So we're using this plasma CO2 GANs, and we having a beautiful response. People with HIV, with malaria, with Ebola, they're having a beautiful response. So, and we are opening a new window to pharmaceuticals. We don't want to fight. We don't want to blame anybody who's doing wrong or doing right. We're just giving another tool to bring to people. If we really want to change the whole world, we have to work each other. We have to work as one. So we bring this new technology to the pharmaceuticals, to the FDA, to treat it, to check that, to test it. We don't want to blame anybody, just one, because we don't know who started this. I don't think, and people realize what they're doing. They start doing something, they started the pharmaceuticals without knowing exactly the purpose of this company. So we are given another tool. And if they really want to change the world, they want to help them. So we're given another tools to bring to the people. So back to this patient, as I said, we have this cancer tumor on the left side. Now they're coming to the graphics. I want you to see it. So this patient, as I said, the first thing that we have to address is the emotion. If we don't address the emotions, we are not going to change this body. In the traditional medicine, we've seen all people went had a cancer, they had a surgery, chemo, and they healed themselves. But 7 years later, they come back. But on the medical field, they took them as a good result, a successful treatment. They given chemo, they given radiotherapy, and they succeed. 7 years is incredible. Why it comes in 7 years? The whole body changes. Every single cell of your body, it takes 7 years to change the whole body. So you still have those emotions involved in the DNA and the cells. So that's why 5-7 years later, they bring back that disease. They haven't changed anything. Just put them in pause, but they're coming. So on these particular patients, most of the patients, we have to understand, and the Keshe Foundation and the group of doctors, we address every single organ. We try to understand every single organ on your body because it has a different ways of working, not the way we were taught on medical school. It's a different way. Like, for example, the breast is not like the feeding device, a breast to give milk or sexual unit. Is the breast is like a radar, like a big sense of emotions. And that is connected to the emotions of everybody, and especially connected to the mother, connected to the child. So if the left breast is involved in this disease, that means that breast is involved in the connections with the mother or the child. When they have issues and they have problems, inside of the brain says, oh, I regret this connection with my son. I have regret that I have treated this way or whatever. So the brain connects that have that emotion that affecting what is the connection between the son and the mother, the breast. So if it has issues, emotional problems, and that connection, so the brain starting to get rid of that connection, which is the breast. So that's why they starting to develop the cancer. So we have to deal with this emotion in order to change that disease. We're not going to change it. If we remove it using this technology without addressing the emotion, the disease will come back again. So in order, as I said, the left breast is connected to the child because normally it's the one who used, or the mothers used to breastfeed the babies. The right one is connected more to the husband, to the partner. So if they have issues with the partner and they have that connection with the right side of the breast, that means that that connection the brain wanted to get rid, so it will start having problems with issues with that breast on the right side. So every organ is connected to the environment, the different emotions. Once we understand how the body works, it becomes easier to change it, to bring balance to that body. So, and And patients with cancer, every single patient with cancer, no matter what kind of cancer, there's some metals involved in this cancer. And we have to understand if it's a tumor and it's growing, and it means that it's an incredible gravitational field. They're pulling everything. They're pulling energy of the body. They're pulling so much energy. They're starting to grow like a feeding itself. So that we have found that the seed, the core of that tumor, it's involved some metals. So we have to determine what kind of metals are higher in the blood test. We can use the blood or we can do it on their hair. So once we found what kind of metals is involved, we're gonna start making GANs of that metal in order to change it. So in these cases, most of the cases, 90% of the breast cancer, calcium is involved, but also we have found people with mercury, people with arsenic. So once we know what kind of a metal is involved in that cancer, we have to make GANs of that and create the different fields. As I said before, with this technology, we can we can remove tissues out of your body, or we can make or give it elements to regrow part of your body. So if we want to remove that tumor or that is something that is affecting your body, we have to create an environment to get rid of that. So in this cases, the blood test, we asked the lab to look for any elements, all the metals in blood, like for example, calcium, iron, arsenic, magnesium, mercury, copper, zinc, etc. The one we found that is higher, that means that is the one that's involved in the tumor. In this case was calcium. So we made calcium, GANs of calcium. And the way to make calcium is using the chicken bones. We can use also eggshells, but we found that I have found easier to do calcium against using chicken bones. So we cut them in little pieces and then put them inside the pot and boil them with vinegar 4 or 5 times until it gets jelly, because it's so hard. So once you boil it different times, many times with vinegar, it comes a little jelly. So once we have that, we put it in a different jar, remove that vinegar, and we put those little pieces in the jar, and we cover it with caustic, which is sodium hydroxide. We cover that, and then we add boiling distilled water, and then we create that effect. We seal it and leave it for 6 days. After 6 days, we'll see that start creating that GANs, that like a powder, like that magical substance on the bottom. So then we rinse that caustic, we wash them off with distilled water 8-10 times. The way I do it, after 8-10 times, I use my fingertip. I test it. If it's still the effect of the caustic, I don't recommend to do that. I do it myself. I like to test everything. So I keep washing out, rinse it off until it says completely clean. No a taste of sodium, no taste of caustic. And then at the end, the 11th time or 12th time, I put CO2 GANs water. After 24 hours, you have GANs calcium. And they use the water of calcium. You don't use the GANs. The GANs that's in the bottom, here in the bottom, you leave it for it. You leave it forever, so it will last forever. So you only use that liquid that you put on the patches, on rings, whatever you wanted to use it for, and you change the body. So you put it inside this little patches. We have an example of different patches. You can add that liquid plasma inside those patches. Even you can add on those patches 4, 5, 6 different kinds of GANs. If you want to rebuild some part of your body, you can mix the different GANs. So you bring those elements on the body, and the body start changing. The way to do it in this case is like we have a cancer. Like this cases, we have a big breast. The cancer was on the right side of the left breast. So we put the stronger field, the stronger plasma of calcium, and this are in the left side, and the weakest and the arrow. It creates a field, like a loop of field that whatever is inside that think that it doesn't have to be inside, we blend it inside that field and start disappearing. Once it starts appearing, in this case, it started to reject it. The body will start rejecting, and one is going to see those photos that pieces of breast starting to come off of the body. So in cases that we have a small breast, or we have a small breast, we put it the stronger patch on your back, and the weakest and front, and it creates as well a field, a loop, a field that would change this one. That's the same way we're going to use sometimes patches if we want to rebuild something in your body. That's the way we use it. So I said, once the effect that we start seeing just 2 weeks after the using the unit, the size of the breast is starting to diminish, but because the infection that she had the infection destroyed a lot of the tissue inside the breast. As you see the regurgitation of the veins on the top, so how you start diminishing it. We are seeing this in patients. This is the first sign that we've seen in patients who have problems with lung cancer or compression inside the mediastinum, that regurgitation of the veins on the thorax. This, and when you see this having a good effect, this is the first sign you see is working. So this patient started, because I know it looks gross. I'm sorry for some people that are not used to see those images, but that a lot of tissue start dying inside and see so aggressive, the cancer and all the effect of the infection inside. Oh, people say, okay, this went, it started to look worse, apparently, but a lot of those pieces of tissues, those pieces starting to come off. And inside of those tissues, there were calcium. The body will start rejecting that calcium out of the body, the pieces of breast. And it looks gross, it's starting to reject it. But in one way, they started to start dying all that tissue, start dying and shrinking, and pieces coming off of the body. She went to the doctors. Every time the problems with this one, that every time a piece came out of the body, they start bleeding. So that's why she has to go back to the hospital and have blood transfusion. She went down to 5 most of the time, and then put them 2 or 3 units to get up to 9 to 11. But still, when the doctors, oncologists saw her, this patient was insulted and treated like trash by doctors, that because she allowed that without knowing what happened. They don't want to do anything. They haven't seen any cancer like that. They have no way of healing. They reject her. And I asked them, why don't you do a biopsy? And they didn't want to do a biopsy, so she's keep coming to the unit. She came here for 3 months until we have this contraction, all that. And we asked the doctors, please make a biopsy. No one wanted to do a biopsy. This is a cancer. I know this was a cancer, but why don't you have a biopsy and see what's going on? So finally they decided to have a biopsy. Actually, we have a scan, and that scan the result. The doctors, when they report that the size of the tumor was incredible, less. Obviously, we see that, but also as well, and the most important thing they found is lymphadenopathy on the axillaries that were growing, but also they were starting to diminish the size. And we see people who have cancer, if this is a cancer so aggressive and so huge, even with smaller cancer, we saw that the cancer spread all over the body, has worse results. So this patient, the lymph that were on the beginning big, they're starting to diminish inside. So they decide to finally have a biopsy of the tissue and lymph nodes. And they report there's fibro-connected tissue with extensive coagulative necrosis. And the common stats is the sections of the mass biopsy shown granulation tissue associated with extensive coagulative and calcification, which is highly suspicious for tumor necrosis. degestant viable tissue shows granulation tissue, stromal fibrosis, and collections of histiocysts and mixed chronic inflammatory cells. No evidence of viable tumor seen on the current biopsy. There was no cancer. So 1 week waiting for this patient is just a lot of time. We, as a plastic surgeon, we need time to start reconstructing this because all the tissue that these patients develop is a lot, and it feels like a rock inside. We cannot handle this tissue, but if we wait a year, between 8 months to 8 years, that tissue will become softer, so we'll be able to handle it. And the way we'll handle this to remove the rest of the tissue, that the scar tissue, is to put in a tissue expander to increase the size of that cavity, put an implant, and reconstruct that breast.